A great journalist, Aaron Rupert, is going to be joining us here in just a few minutes to talk about what was a very crazy interview on Meet the Press with Miss Welker. Now, I want to play you some of this interview, but I can tell you he said a lot of crazy things over the weekend. He says a lot of crazy things on a regular basis. He's talking a little bit about the possibility that he might be reopening Alcatraz. He talked about 100% tariffs on movies that are made outside the United States. I mean, a lot of insane stuff that Donald Trump is talking about in this interview. And listen, I'm not a big Welker fan. I don't think she's great. I didn't think she pushed back enough on Donald Trump. We'll get to that. But this is the point in the interview where she asked Donald Trump about the Constitution, and I'm not sure any answer could get more unconstitutional than this one. Have a listen to this.
Your Secretary of State says everyone who's here, citizens and non-citizens, deserve due process. Do you agree, Mr. President?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know.
Well, the Fifth Amendment says
I don't know. It might say that, but if you're talking about that, then we'd have to have 1 million or 2 million or 3 million trials. We have thousands of people that are some murderers and some drug dealers and some of the worst people on earth, some of the worst, most dangerous people on earth. And I was elected to get them the hell out of here, and the courts are holding me from doing it.
But even given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me, and they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said. What you said is not what I heard the Supreme Court said. They have a different interpretation.
Is anyone in your administration right now in contact with El Salvador about returning Abrego Garcia to the United States?
I don't know. You'd have to ask the Attorney General that question.
So it's pretty simple to me. It doesn't get more unconstitutional than that answer that Donald Trump gave. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. No, he does know. And what he's doing is more anti-Constitution. Okay? That's just the bottom line. It is anti-Constitution. It is anti-America. It is anti-rule of law. That is who Donald Trump is. And now it gets to the point of the interview where we're talking about this crypto scandal. We know that Donald Trump is making billions of dollars. Literally, Donald Trump is making billions of dollars off this crypto scandal. And Donald Trump tells the American people, oh, I really haven't looked at that. Is there anybody that believes this answer? Have a listen to this.
You're not profiting off of the cryptocurrency business
I haven't even looked.
Has your family?
I'll tell you what, look, if I own stock in something and I do a good job and the stock market goes up, I guess I'm profiting. But who really profits is somebody like Nancy Pelosi, who uses inside information. She worked for $175,000 a year, and that's at the high end, and she's worth $150, $200 million. Okay? You ought to look at Nancy Pelosi, and you ought to look at some of these politicians that are stone cold crooks. I was very wealthy when I came in. Being president, I probably cost me money if you really look.
What a joke. First of all, he starts talking about Nancy Pelosi. See, in the world of politics, that's what we would call a pivot. She didn't ask him about Nancy Pelosi. And by the way, the idea that he lost money as president is the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life. He's made billions of dollars dating back all the way to 2016. Literally, billions of dollars. He made $500 million in campaign contributions when he said he was going to fight election fraud after the 2020 election. He put that all in his back pocket. The question wasn't about Nancy Pelosi. Listen, Nancy Pelosi became rich. Okay, you want to look into that? People can look into that. But Donald Trump has literally made billions of dollars with his Trump Bibles. Donald Trump has made billions of dollars with his trading cards and now his crypto scandal. He specifically asked about this crypto scandal, and his response, oh, I haven't really taken a look at that. Have I made money? Is there literally anybody in there that believes a word that this guy says? And here's Donald Trump going into a diatribe about how he donates and contributes his salary to the government. Meanwhile, we're talking about a $400,000 a year salary when literally the guy is literally making billions of dollars off of his crypto scandal now. But he's saying, oh, well, look at this. I contribute my salary to the government because the MAGA people out there actually believe the words that he says. They believe him. Listen to this.
I do something that no other president has done. They think maybe George Washington has done. I contribute my entire salary to the government, back to the government.
So
And
will
I'm
you
doing it
contribute
again.
anything you earn from crypto back to the government? If that
I
happens?
never thought of that. I mean, should I contribute all of my real estate that I've owned for many years if it goes up a little bit because I'm president and doing a good job? I don't think so.
Okay.
But I've
Be sick to hear that. I haven't really thought about that. No, the real response is no, I'm not going to be giving any of the billions of dollars I make back to the government because he's selfish, because he's always been it for himself. Why is it that so many people out there struggle to understand the fact that the only reason why Donald Trump ran for president first go around was to help him? It was to benefit him. It was to benefit his brand. And then when he actually won, he figured out ways to cheat. He figured out ways to literally take money from the taxpayers. It's why every single time he goes on vacation, he's going to Mar-a-Lago or he's going to a golf course that he owns because his company is the one that makes money off of it. Your hard-working money, your taxpayer money is going towards Donald Trump and going in his back pocket. It's a joke. It's ridiculous. It's insane. It's disgusting. Ever since Donald Trump got into office, the only person that he's ever cared about is himself. He doesn't care about the American people. He likes the word tariff. You think he cares that so many people in this country are struggling and that there are small business owners that are losing their jobs? Do you think he cares? Do you think he cares about you? He cares about me? Look at the people that are hanging out at Mar-a-Lago. Look at the people, the white, rich elitists. And yet MAGA Republicans want to say that it's the liberals that are the rich elitists. No, it's Donald Trump and the people that hang out around him. It's why I say this all the time, that his administration is worth around $60 billion, and that does not include Elon Musk. And don't even get me started with Donald Trump talking about tariffs. You know, this is Donald Trump asked by Welker about the whole tariff situation, and he keeps saying that companies will eat the tariffs and it's not passed along at all, which is, by the way, not true. It's the American consumer that are the people that are going to be struggling, that are going to be eating on these tariffs. Listen to him try to explain this, and then when it comes to China.
But what people don't understand is, and this is a lot, the country eats the tariff, the company eats the tariff, and it's not passed along at all.
Well, some CEOs are saying they're going to have to pass it on. So how do you deal with those CEOs?
But the company,
how do you deal with those CEOs?
China is eating the tariffs right now.
What do you say to those CEOs who are saying we might have to pass this on to the consumer?
Well, they say that because maybe it's to their advantage to say it.
Will
Maybe
you punish them?
No, because you know what? I want them to build plants in the United States. That way they don't have any tariffs. See, tariffs will, and not only will, look at what's happened. In 2 months, we're close to $9 trillion of investment. We've never been anywhere near that.
Really absurd. There's a reason why we've never been anywhere near these kinds of tariffs. Oh, yeah, by the way, small tidbit for you. It's why President Xi won't even pick up the phone to speak to Donald Trump. And then he's speaking a tough game like China is eating these tariffs. China is imposing these tariffs on us. It's the American consumer that is the one that is struggling. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. They won't even speak to Donald Trump. And yet Donald Trump and members of his administration, remember when they said 90 deals in 90 days? We're going on almost 3 weeks now. 0 deals. He's a liar. He doesn't care about the American people. He doesn't care about certainly those that are struggling, that are living paycheck to paycheck. He tells you every single day in so many words. Why won't you pay attention? Why won't you believe him? He doesn't care about the American people. He only cares about himself. And then when things don't go his way or things don't go right for the country, he'll blame Joe Biden. I'll get to that. I'll get to that in a moment. This is the part, again, in the interview. And it's my understanding that Meet the Press didn't even air this part of the interview, but yet he wants to file a lawsuit against 60 Minutes for editing video when Meet the Press did the exact same thing. Here's Donald Trump literally once again lying to the American people, not admitting that he lost the 2020 election.
You know, my 4 years were phenomenal, as you know, the stock market. In fact, even though we had to go through the COVID thing, that horrible situation with COVID, we did numbers. And when I gave it over, when I handed it over, the election was rigged. And because of that, we have a lot of problems, by the way. But when I handed it over, what happened? The market was higher than it was just previous to COVID coming in.
Yeah.
Nobody could believe it. The stock market I'm talking about.
I don't want to look back, but you did take your case to court about
look
that.
back.
You took your case to court about your allegations against the election. Let me ask you,
There's no
sir.
question about it. The election was rigged. The facts are in, and it's still being litigated. Let's go.
You did take your case to court more than 60 times and didn't win those cases.
And I won a lot of court
cases. Just to button that up, though, sir. Just to button that up.
What are you talking about?
How
the election
worried are you?
Are we talking about the election
Let's
of
talk about
2020?
here and now. Let's talk about
The
here and now.
election of 2020?
Let's not talk about. Let's talk about here and now. Are
I just don't understand Welker. She's just so terrible. Okay, I'm just going to be honest with you. She's terrible. She's terrible on Meet the Press. And notice how she just jumps over that. Again, you have the first president in American history that has yet to concede an election, and you have Donald Trump still saying it was rigged. Oh, yeah, by the way, it wasn't. And he says the facts are in. What the hell does that mean? Does that mean if I say the earth is flat and I say the facts are in because Kyrie Irving says the earth is flat, does that mean the earth is flat? No, the facts are not in. Not according to him. The facts are in that Joe Biden won a free and fair election, and it's proven once again that Donald Trump can't get over it. He can't get over the fact that he lost the 2020 election. And this is the guy who's the president of the United States. And I'll say it again, Welker's awful at her job. She's terrible. I would have pressed him on that and said, why can't you get over the fact that you lost? Why can't you get over the fact you lost about anything? Don't you think that's problematic that you're the only president in American history that has yet to concede an election? But when he wins, everything seems to go okay. And yet so many of his supporters still believe it. And here comes the part where he's starting to talk about eggs. Okay, here he goes starting to talk about eggs. Let me be very clear on this. Since day one, when Donald Trump took office, eggs are higher than they were. Okay, eggs might have dropped down the last 2 weeks, but he keeps saying eggs are down 94%. That would mean eggs would be about 50 cents a dozen. They're not. They're over $3 a dozen. They are not down since day one. Welker does a terrible job in any sort of pushback again, but this is Donald Trump talking about egg prices. Have a listen to this.
People, it didn't matter what they made because they were losing their shirt because of costs. Now take a look at what happened. Oil is down, gasoline is down, groceries are down, eggs. You were the one that asked me. You asked me about eggs. It was the first week. I didn't even know anything about what were you talking about. Egg prices were so high you couldn't buy eggs. They didn't have any eggs. And they said Easter is going to be a disaster. Well, we had Easter at the White House, and we had thousands of eggs, and they were down 87%.
Yeah, a lot of that, of course, spike was because of bird flu. But when does it become the Trump economy?
Why do you say that?
Well, tell me,
we had the same bird flu as he had.
When does
You had the same bird flu as he had. Well, good. I'm glad Donald Trump is making the argument for me. See, because during the Biden administration, every MAGA Republican was blaming Joe Biden for inflation. Every MAGA Republican was blaming Donald Trump, or I'm sorry, Joe Biden for the price of eggs. And for people that say the price of eggs have significantly dropped, you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Now, have they dropped since day one, since Donald Trump took office? No, they haven't. They're up. You could look that up if you don't believe me. Are they down in the last few weeks? Yes. I don't blame Donald Trump for egg prices. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because it was Donald Trump and all of his MAGA Republican friends that were blaming Joe Biden for the price of eggs. And you see, Donald Trump campaigned on, I'm going to lower the price of inflation. I'm going to lower the price of gas. I'm going to lower the price of eggs. He has not done that since day one, since he took office. If you don't believe me, you can look that up for yourself. It's mentally exhausting to have to explain this to MAGA Republicans over and over again. Donald Trump is lying. He said he would lower the price on day one. He has not done that. We're not talking about the last couple weeks. We're talking about since day one, when Donald Trump took office, gas prices have not dropped. Since day one, since Donald Trump has took office, the price of eggs have not dropped. Since day one, since Donald Trump has took office, up 0.5% inflation. Those are the stats. If you don't believe me, you can look that up yourself. And quite frankly, it is not my job to continue to have to fact check you MAGA Republicans every single day. I've had it, quite frankly. If you believe his lies, you can go ahead and you can believe that. But America and Americans and those that are suffering, that are struggling to live paycheck to paycheck, are the ones that are suffering because you are naive enough to believe every single word that Donald Trump says. I'm not blaming Donald Trump for the price of eggs. I think the bird flu has a lot to do with it. But you guys are the ones that blame Joe Biden for the price of eggs. You guys were the ones that blamed Joe Biden for inflation when we have a war in Ukraine. Oh, yeah, a war that Donald Trump said he would end within 24 hours. How's that working out? We were just coming out of COVID. We still have the war. We have the situation going on in the Middle East. Inflation was up all over the world, but you wanted to blame Joe Biden for everything. But then when Donald Trump takes office and he campaigns on, I'm going to lower inflation on day one, I'm going to end the war in 24 hours, and that doesn't happen, then you want to go ahead and you want to blame Joe Biden, or you want to say, well, Donald Trump was just being sarcastic, right? When he said the war was going to be over in 24 hours. I'm so sick of the hypocrisy from all of you people on the MAGA right. It's sickening to me and it's disgusting. And I've had it. And you want to speak about disgusting? This is Donald Trump in a nutshell. If things go bad, he's going to blame Joe Biden. He's going to blame Pete Buttigieg. He's going to blame Barack Obama. He's going to blame migrants. He's going to blame brown people. If things go good, it's all because of me. This is the point in the interview that really sets the tone for who Donald Trump is and how full of crap he is when she's asked him, when is it going to be the Trump economy? Have a listen to this.
Could deal very badly. We'll see how that all turns out, but it's got to be a fair deal.
When does it become the Trump economy?
It partially is right now, and I really mean this. I think the good parts are the Trump economy, and the bad parts are the Biden economy, because he's done a terrible job. He did a terrible job on everything. From his auto pen, which I'm sure he knew nothing about some of the things he was supposedly signing.
But, sir, you acknowledge when you announced your tariffs, for example, the stock market dropped. It's been volatile. It has since gone up.
It is,
Do you take responsibility
Look at
for
today.
that? Yeah. Do you take responsibility when it drops?
Ultimately, I take responsibility for everything, but I've only just been here for a little more than 3 months.
Ultimately, I take responsibility for everything, but I've only been here for 3 months. Coming from the guy who said on day one he would end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. On day one, he would lower the price of inflation. But now all of a sudden, 3 months into it, give me more time. This is what he campaigned on. It is a joke. It's an embarrassment that people believe this despicable man. It's embarrassing that there are so many people in this country that believe him. Now, you want to talk about one of the dumbest, I guess you could call that one of the dumbest ideas that Donald Trump has ever had, and he's had quite a few of them, by the way. He's asked on Air Force One over the weekend about the possibility of reopening Alcatraz. Now, I'll explain to you why this is so stupid, but this is Donald Trump, and apparently he got this idea from a right-wing actor on social media, which, again, is absurd. This is where they get their information from right-wing cuckoos on social media. He's thinking now about reopening Alcatraz. I'll explain to you why this is such a stupid idea, but have a listen to this.
How did you get the idea for reopening Alcatraz?
Just an idea I've had, and I guess because the judges, so many of these radicalized judges, they want to have trials for every single, think of it, every single person that's in our country illegally, that came in illegally. That would mean millions of trials, and it's just so ridiculous what's happening. And it's long been a symbol, Alcatraz, of whatever it is. I mean, it's a sad symbol, but it's a symbol of law and order. And, it's got quite a history, frankly. So I think we're going to do that, and we're looking at it right now.
Absolutely absurd. By the way, Alcatraz, reopening Alcatraz would cost the American taxpayer somewhere around the vicinity of $250 million. He talked about millions of people. Alcatraz would hold somewhere under 400 people, and he's talking about millions of people. He has a lot of dumb ideas, but this is certainly one of the dumbest ideas I've ever heard.